Hey crafty friends, this is Chelsea. Today's video, I wanted to give you an idea for how to sum up your year. If you ever feel behind with your scrapbooking or you just don't have time to document everything you would like to, or maybe you want to catch up on past years to kind of get current, I want to show you an idea for that today. So I am grabbing a little bit older collection from close to my heart. This is called Hip Hooray. It was a VIP collection. I actually just picked it up in the Boxing Week sales because I just love these bright colors and I didn't get it the first time. So it has a few retired colors, but they're just really pretty and bright and happy. I cannot resist a rainbow stripe or a rainbow polka dot. Those are always big winners in my book, especially with all the bright colors in pictures of my daughter. She's got lots of different bright colored clothes. And then this is the sticker sheet that goes along with it. Really good for kind of just everyday life. Doesn't have to be a certain occasion, could work for all kinds of things. I also have the January stamp of the month. So this one, it comes with the thin cuts. And I really wanted it because of this one here. It makes a little like notebook piece that we are going to stamp for my journaling. And I also want to make a bunch of these to just keep in my drawer for journaling spots. If you're not familiar with how the stamp of the month works, you can get this set for free if you're a VIP and you place a $60 order. Or if you place a $60 order and you're not a VIP, you can get it for $6.75. It's regular $27. If you want to add on the thin cuts, then you pay for those on top of it, but you can get just the stamp set as well. This is only available this month, so I'll link it below for you if you want to go check it out. Now we take hundreds, if not thousands of photos every year with digital photos. It's super easy to get overwhelmed with your photos. And if you haven't found something that works for you yet, I highly recommend doing some sort of a year in review, month in review, that sort of thing. So I'm going to do a year in review for 2023, just kind of a wrap-up layout that I can put into my album. It kind of catches any little things that I may have missed from the year. And typically I do scrapbook a year behind. I haven't scrapbooked all of 2023 yet. I like to have a full season of photos to use each year. I've gone ahead and cut up my paper. This is an 8x10 photo. Isn't that gorgeous? My friend Michelle took this for me. She takes some beautiful photos. And I'm just going to layer that over the blue. I thought that really made her blue eyes pop. And then I cut a piece of 5x12 of that stripe pattern because that's going to be kind of my main pattern. Now I could just echo that white background. That's always my go-to. But I thought this time I would use that stripe paper in the background, and I gutted out the middle because I want to use every bit of that. And then I cut down a piece of white cardstock, so I still have mostly white in the background to work with all these bold colors, but that's going to go right over top like this. So you can see that is filling in that center, and I still have a nice white clean background for all the photos I'm going to put on top. I went ahead and stuck these down off camera. And I have this massive photo over here. I love using enlargements. It's not something I do all the time, but man, does it ever make an impact? And the nice thing is that it takes up a lot of room on your page. So, you could either do one large photo, or if you want to, you could also print out a collage and have like several photos all printed together on one piece. It would serve the same function, but you'd get more photos on. Now, I want to do a grid on this side. That is just a good go-to. So I've gone ahead and cut a bunch of other patterns here. These are all from this collection. They are all 3x3 squares. And I've done 3x3 squares because now I'm going to put in 3x3 photos. It's much easier to make a grid when all your pieces are the same size. Now I have to figure out my spacing on this, kind of how far, if I want them to go out a little farther or be a little bit closer together towards the center, and then have a wider border around the outside. So I'm just gonna have to play with that and decide what I like. I do need to leave room for flip-flaps because of course this isn't enough photos for a recap of the year. So what I'm going to do is use little 3x3 flip-flaps on top of my photos. Now I always put these on after I've put my layout into a page protector, but they definitely go into the planning of a page. So how they work is you just put your photo in. This here is covering up adhesive, so you'd peel that off, and once your page is in a page protector, you just line it up over your photo and stick it on like that. And then you have this little flap. You can put another photo on the back. You could put another journaling spot. They just really extend your pages, and you can do more than one. Like, you don't have to just do a single flip flap. You can stick a couple of them or 3 of them together and make almost like a little flipping mini book for your layout. Now, these do come in all sizes. I would say my most commonly used sizes are 4x6, 3x4, and then it's kind of a toss up between the 3x3 and the 4x4. I use those a little bit, but not as much as my 3x4 and 4x6s. They're a standby. I always have them in my arsenal because you never know when you want to add extra pictures to a layout. Now, bringing in the stamp of the month, I wanted this piece so that I could kind of jot down highlights from the year. I'm not planning on doing super in-depth journaling because this is not going to be my only layout for the year. I'm also going to do lots of other kind of standard regular layouts throughout 2023, doing a lot of our events and different stories that I want to tell. This is just a recap layout. And I think if you find that you are really limited for time, if all you have time for is some recap layouts, you could do one for each season of the year. So have 4 different layouts for the different seasons, pictures and stories of things that happened in that season, and then call that good for that year. You could do one a month if you wanted to do that. You could even follow the same format, whether that's a grid of photos on this side or one large photo with a grid on this side. I'm probably also going to add a pocket plus in here. We will get to that a little bit later because, of course, I want to add as many photos as I can in here. And as I was going through my photo app, it was really hard to narrow down which photos to use. But back to these pieces. So I love how these cut out with that little decorative edge. You might have a punch in your stash as well that kind of cuts out that same notebook. Kind of looks like it's been ripped out of a notebook. Now, I think what I want to do is actually set this up into my stamp platform so that I can just stamp a whole bunch. These with the dies, you can cut 2 pieces of paper at a time. And since I know I want to do a whole bunch, I think it's easier if I die cut the pieces first, then line them up in my stamp platform and stamp all of them at the same time. I'm just going to move this over here very carefully. Those are not stuck down on top there yet. This is the Tim Holtz platform, but whatever stamping platform you use will work just fine. This stamp is brand new, so I will need to kind of rub on it to season it. I have this little piece that I cut out. It was like a scrap that I was cutting my pieces out of. I try and use up my scraps when I can. I'm going to put it, I wonder if it's better if I put it this way. Okay, let's try it this way. Might be tricky to hold it up there, but what I'm gonna try is just putting one of these back in here. And actually, sometimes I'll put a sticky mat in here, but I can also just throw a little bit of my ATG adhesive in there, just so that this isn't slipping around, especially if I need to like double stamp it. Then I'm gonna put in this stamp with the little boxes off to the left-hand side here. And I'm gonna line it up and then do a test stamp and make sure it's in the exact spot that I want it before I start stamping a whole bunch. I think this is pretty good placement. We'll give it a shot and see how it goes. I'm just using intense black for this. And I think that should be pretty good. It's a little bit softer black. I could also use gray if I don't want it to be super bold. We'll see what it looks like on the page and then switch directions if we need to. There we go. So that's what that looks like when it's all stamped up. Super cute, perfect spot for making a list, journaling. Remember, there's numbers that fit in the side here. And that's what it'll look like on the page. All right, while I had my stamp platform out, I went and stamped a whole bunch of these. so that I can keep them in my little like scrap drawers beside me, and when I need a journaling spot, that'll be fast and easy for me to pull out. They should go with pretty much everything. They're just white and black. I also went ahead and stuck everything down. Not my flip-flops, of course, because those are going on the outside of my page protectors. But the biggest thing to keep in mind here is that I wanted the edge of these photos to line up with the photos underneath, and for there still to be room for my flip-flops to move. This one here is about the closest, but it should still move, no problem. You can always flip the orientation. Like I could flip my photos around and have these flip out to the side. I could have this one flip that way if I wanted to. You can have them flip down, but I do like the top so that they kind of like lift up. This one I have left blank because I think I want to put a sticker on there and kind of have like a subtitle for this layout. I haven't stuck these guys down yet because I want to do my writing first, just in case I make a mistake. But basically when I was lining these up, I just kind of played with them and slid them around until I thought there would be enough room for my flip-flops to go smoothly and not be overlapping each other. And then I just eyeballed it to stick it down. You could use like a T-ruler and like be very precise, but I usually find eyeballing it, I get pretty close. So that's what I did. And now it's time for a little bit of embellishment. This page definitely needs something. I stamped a couple of these. This is Wildberry, which is a retired color. It was color of the year a few years ago. And then I stamped this one. It's the light side of Ballerina cardstock, so very light pink. It's the same pink that is used in this collection. And I was thinking maybe I want some poking out from behind my photo. Maybe flip them around. I don't know. I did them. We'll see if I use them or if I need them. I just thought it might be nice to carry over this shape onto this page. Now at this point, if I'm trying to keep things simple, I am going back and looking at my sticker sheet. So I thought this would make a really good title, The Good Life, right? It's generic enough. I could use stamps or dies and spell out like 2023 recap or something like that. But this would be super easy just to stick a sticker on, and it could overlap the bottom part of my photo because this is blurry anyways. This was a portrait photo. And so this part is all blurry. So if it overlaps for a little bit down here, I think that's fine. So I definitely need something over here. I'm just gonna peel this off and see what this looks like without committing. Because I was thinking on this piece here, I could use some just letter stamps, or number and letter stamps, and just put like 2023 recap or memories or something like that. This is when I need to be live with you guys so you can tell me yay or nay. It's a very big title, but I think it balances this very large photo. Now for that, we do have some options. There is this little like banner sticker. I could cut it in half here and bring some more color up into that corner. I could do like that. There's also some sticker banners, or I could cut, oops. I could cut paper banners and stick those kind of coming up here. So that is an option. This one here, if time could stand still, I think this is what I want to put right here. So maybe we'll go do that while I'm thinking about what to do over here. If time could stand still. I love this age. We're having so much fun, and it's just crazy to watch her keep growing and everything keep changing. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is grab my anti-static pouch, take the sticky off of a few of my stickers and just try them out, because I'm not gonna be able to decide just looking at it. I want to make sure while I'm positioning this big sticker that I leave a little bit of space on that left-hand side so I don't end up with some trapped white space up there. And I'm just trying to figure out how I want these little pieces. I'm just gonna kind of play around with it and tuck it in there, and then I found this little potted plant sticker and I thought it added just enough pop right there. I'm leaving the pink one plain so I can stamp on it. And then I decided to cut this little banner, and of course I didn't cut it quite long enough. I needed the blue part to be a little bit longer. So I cut it again, but then it looked weird because there's just this piece of empty white sticker there. So what I ended up doing, taking my scissors and cutting right along the blue line So the blue line kind of goes right off to the edge of my page. Just snip off the extra there, and that looks pretty good. You can't really tell. And then there's one little corner of the photo mat peeking out, and it looked weird, so I just trimmed it off with my scissors. I added this priceless moment stickers and a little arrow sticker. I could have left that corner blank, but I decided I wanted something there. And then I'm grabbing the Simply Said alphabet. It's a nice plain alphabet, and it's not too big, so I'm just spacing out my numbers. I don't have two twos, so I kind of have to guess on the spacing a little bit. And then I'm going to grab that stamp of the month again. There are some words along the bottom here, and I'm going to do stamp surgery. Don't scream. I'm cutting between the words, so it's okay. They will stick back together again. I could stamp them all as one, but I probably won't use it that way, so I figured it's not a big deal to cut it up. I'm going to use some intense black, and of course I want to test out my stamping first, so that's why I have the sticky note there, so I can kind of test it out. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my numbers. Now I know it looks like I'm barely touching the paper, but that is because I had my head in the way for most of it, so I'd try and edit that out for you. Now the only thing I might still add over here are some of the word or phrase stickers. I stamped this out of that same Stamp of the Month stamp set, and I like the way this looks. Kind of breaks up that really strong grid. I just don't want to get too many words going on because I do have this up here. I have that, and then I have this, and then all of this is going to be my lists of everything that happened this year. So I don't know if I want to add anything else. The other thing I could add is there is a lot of these cute little arrows, and that could be a fun way to embellish this without getting like too much extra going on. There's also like little stars and hearts and little things like that that I could add to just break up all the text. Okay, while I think about that, I have one more thing that I want to add to this page. Like I said, I have more photos, and one of my other favorite ways besides flip flaps to add photos is with Pocket Plus. So this style of Pocket Plus is retired. They are still on the website. I picked up another pack during the Boxing Week sales, but I think they are still on there. So if you wanted to grab some, if you like portrait 3x4 photos, that is one of my most common sizes of photos that I use. So I just love how many we can fit in here, and then on the back as well. So I have even more photos from this last year. And I did leave a couple of spots because when there's so many photos, I like to break it up with either more journaling or maybe some cute phrases, some sort of decoration. So when this goes into my album, this is going to sit in the middle between these two pages. And I do use post-bound albums, but these have the extra allowance for post-bound, so they won't tent up. They'll actually lay quite nicely in the album. So they'll kind of be like that, and then on this side, they'll look like that. All right, so my next thing is going to be to finish these off. So I'm just going to slide this out of the way, and then I'm going to pull this out of the page protector. I just like to put everything in at first to see how it's going to look. The other thing is to you might find that you need to trim your photos depending how big they are. Sometimes I find if I trim like a 1/16, like just barely any off the bottom or the top, they slide in and out of the pockets a lot better. All right, and then I took just a piece of the pattern paper. This is on that yellow side, and this is from the Stamp of the Month as well, The Magic of New Beginnings. I gave it a slight banner on the one side. And then I took one of our little journaling spots and I broke it up because I want one part to come out the top and one part to come out the bottom. I'm just gonna pull this out and we'll flip this over, and I have a blank side down in this corner. This is going to be that photo. So I'm just gonna kind of draw from my scraps here. I have a piece of green. I thought it might be nice to bring in some of the green from down here over to here, keeping in mind that this is going to be kind of across from that. The other option is I could also flip it to blue. That looks quite nice. There's a lot of blue right beside it, so this might look a little bit too much blue right there. I don't know, we'll have to think about that. And then there's this nice zip strip. Thought I could put one on, or I could even do multiples and kind of create some pattern paper out of that. Kind of have a new rainbow pattern with that zip strip. So that is an option as well. This little scallop circle is from the thin cuts from the stamp of the month. I love that with thin cuts, you can also look at just their basic shapes instead of just what stamps they coordinate with. This gives a beautiful scallop circle that I can use for writing on or stamping on. I have a couple options. I could use that little rainbow sticker there. I could use that camera sticker. The camera sticker is actually quite large. It might be too big for that. And then on the sticker sheet, there's this sticker that says Good Old Days. And that completely epitomizes this layout. You know that saying where they say you wish you would have known that you were in the good old days when you were in them? That's kind of what it makes me think of. And I could either put it right across, or it might look better if I cut it. Yeah, I think that might actually work pretty good. I am liking that blue. What if we put the green behind here? Because there is blue in her shirt at the top that would kind of tie in all this blue. Because if I flip this one to green, this to blue, then we kind of got the sky and the grass, which I think could also work. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these up and stick them all down. All right, I think we are pretty much done. I absolutely love how this came together. Now you'll notice a few things have changed. I went ahead and I sat down and thought about all the things that I wanted to add, and I just listed them all out. I didn't use the number stamps, I just hand wrote the numbers, but then I did go ahead and add some of the icon stickers and things. And what I did was I added these first, made sure I liked them, and then added my journaling so that I left room. Otherwise, I probably would have filled up the whole area. And my plan was just to use a variety of colors and kind of keep it somewhat off of my journaling spot so it didn't take up too much room. I also like that these break up that really rigid grid and kind of add some more shape to it, some more interest to it. It's not quite so, you know, really harsh grid, which is okay too. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like just having a few things overlapping and just to soften up that grid. Now, also for our little insert here that's going to be going in between, we have this one. All I did was stick that down. It's exactly how I showed you. It's just inside the page protector now. Love how that turned out. And I did flip my pictures because I thought it made more sense, since this is about dance, to have her dance picture next to it. And then on the back side, I decided to go with the blue at the top, the green at the bottom. I liked the blue better, but I didn't want to have all of it blue. I still wanted a touch of green to tie in with that. And then my pictures are moved a little bit because they were already stuck back to back. Whenever I put things into pockets, I always stick them back to back so that you don't have them slipping and like little bits of white showing. I probably stuck them down a little bit too early, but it was just something that I went ahead and did. I thought I was set on my placement, and then I decided to add this with the dance story, so I had to flip those around. So these pictures are flipped as well, but I don't think it really matters too much. And I love how this turned out. I got so many pictures in here. I think this is a great way to kind of summarize anything. So if you wanted to summarize a trip, or maybe a season, or even a school year, this would be great if you had a big school photo. You know, even if it's a little bit smaller than an 8x10, I'm not sure what sizes they come in, but you could have like a large school photo. And actually with that little notebook page, it actually reminds me of school, the way I have them tucked in here too. Could definitely work for school. And then have your smaller pictures in the flip flaps. If you don't have flip flaps or don't want to use flip flaps, you could always use more of the Pocket Plus, because you don't have to just put one, you could put two. Just keep in mind that when you're adding in pages that don't go the full width, if you get too many of these in an album, you will start to have some sagging of your pages, because you'll have it really thick on the inside half, and then the outside half will be thinner and it will kind of droop. So that's something to keep in mind, not putting too many inserts into an album or stacking them too thick in one spot as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this page into the page protector so that you can actually see what it looks like. if you've never seen how these work. So you can stick the sticky part right to your page, but I really don't like doing that because then you have to cut a slit in your page protector, which you totally can do because the Close to My Heart page protectors are such good quality. I know you can't really tell on camera, but they are super thick. I don't think I've seen page protectors that are this nice and thick from any other company. I've been using these for a very long time, and I've done all kinds of interactive pages and cutting my page protectors and everything, and they've always held up well. Now I want to make sure my photos are pressed all the way down. I peeled the release off the sticker, and now when I'm lining this up, I am lining up the photo. So the photo that is in my flip flap with the photo that's underneath of it. And there you go. All right, and then that's that one. So you can see all our nice little flip ups, and then our nice pocket plus that goes in between here. And there's the finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see some more scrapbooking videos, you can click on this playlist here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.